Hey folks, back with ancient cosmography. So this seems to be, the main, or one of the main aspects of the the famous northern Michigan story of the mother bear and the two cubs that drowned in Lake Michigan. And this here is sleeping bear dunes or whatnot, and it seems to relate to some other landmarks that also relate to this. But I think it's basically a way to it's a strait that people have to sail through. So it's about the bear and the two cubs, and then they float up into the two islands just above her head. And so it's about sailing. It's about how you had to sail between this seamount. You have to navigate around not only the two islands up there, but also these basically like underwater islands, underwater mountains, and to get around, to get between Lake Michigan and Lake Erie or whatever it is on the other side. So it's just like all these stories. It's like the story of the Red Hand of Ulster. It's like the the famous scene in the Lascaux Cave painting, the Lascaux Caves depicting the straits of Southwest Pacific as, zoomorphic avatars, anthrozoomorphic avatars. So I don't know why I don't have a freaking image of the whole thing here, but of course I never have anything I want to show. I want to show it somehow. So, the bear who sleeps. One finds there a mountain which the natives call the bear who sleeps, because it is of that shape. They say that after the deluge, the canoe that saved their fathers came aground there and stopped. I perceived on a promontory of sand a kind of grove that, when you are traveling by, has the appearance of a figure of an animal lying down. So that's the grove on the top of the dunes. Okay, here we go. So here's, to sail from Lake Michigan to Lake Erie, and I think you still have ways to go here. You still have to go further, but this would be one of the sketchy parts of it, because there's these islands here, because the easy way is to sail along the shore. This is what people always do, sail along the shorelines. And there's these little baby bear things that could jut out, and if their boat is big, they can run aground. And then there's this big mama bear that they can run aground on. And then there's the two islands here. So it's about memorizing this through the story so that you remember to sail, and especially when you see this on the coastline and this, then it's the right place to try to sail around this and between that and the Manitou Islands. Once long ago in the land called Wisconsin, across the Great Lake, there was a terrible hunger and many people died. A bear and two little cubs were trying to leave that place and come around the lake where they where there would be more food. They walked for many days on the beach together, but after a while the two little cubs began to whimper with hunger, so the bear decided to swim across the rest of the lake. They waded into the water, one cub on each side of the bear, and they swam off into the lake a long way. After a while the cubs began to get tired, and so the bear said, "Try hard, the land is not very far," and very soon they did come in sight of land, but gradually the cubs got weaker, and only 10 miles away one cub sank into the water. Soon after, the other also drowned. So it sounds like a lot of this is probably added on details by somebody who just wanted to make this story sound cooler. So they're saying like 10 miles and this and that. That's my guess. Or like that, oh yeah, they swam on either side of her. Because in here it doesn't really seem like they're on either side. It seems like they're all in front of her, which I think is how bears often travel. Like the little bears will go in front and the mama will be right behind them watching. So anyway, they drowned. That's the point. They're trying to go in the river. They drowned. So that's why they're underwater here. The bear's heart was broken. She could do nothing. She waded ashore and lay down, looking out onto the water where her cubs had died. Eventually, both of them came to the surface as two little islands, and so the bear still lies there atop the dunes, looking after her children. So, the two islands, of course, are these two. The smaller one being the smaller baby cub, whatever, and this bigger one being the bigger cub there. And then her being potentially both this, with this as her face, and then also this